Welcome to Cognitive Spirals, exploring the latest research into consciousness, cognition, and machine intelligence. Hey everyone, and yeah, we've got a really interesting topic today, diving into the depths of how we learn from unlabeled video. It's a bit of a mind bender, right? Right, I mean, we're all used to the idea of structured learning, classrooms, textbooks, organized online courses. But video? That's such a chaotic, organic format. How do we even start to understand the knowledge that's buried in there? Exactly, it's like trying to piece together a giant puzzle where you don't even have the picture on the box. It's fascinating. So, this whole idea, this video world concept that we're looking at is about exploring how machines, and us really, can learn from just raw, unstructured video data. It's super interesting to me. I've been thinking a lot about how my own habits, like the way I move or eat, can be observed and refined. If we're talking about unlabeled video, what about using personal video logs to understand my own daily patterns? Like tracking my posture or my movements when I'm cooking or working? That's such a cool angle. Using video as a kind of personal feedback loop, like a constant check on how our actions might be reinforcing good or bad habits. It's way beyond just counting steps or calories. Yeah, that makes me think about how we could analyze sleep patterns too. Imagine using video of someone sleeping to track tossing and turning, or even micro movements that could signal a restless night. You could get all that data, then tailor an exercise routine to improve that restless sleep, like focus on stretches and maybe some light HIIT. There's a real connection there, I think, between data-driven analysis and actual outcomes. I can see that. And then think about applying that on a broader scale, not just for personal wellness, but for understanding human behavior in general. I mean, videos capture so much cultural context, historical nuances, and they are often unlabeled, right? It's this huge, untapped resource. It's like the entire world's collective unconscious is up there. It's like having a constant mirror to yourself, but on a much grander scale. The idea of using that data to influence lifestyle choices is really intriguing. Maybe it could help us make more informed decisions, move beyond just feeling we should be doing something to actually understanding the impact it has. I was reading about how even lighting affects my mood and energy. I could even start tracking how that plays a role in my daily life through recording my actions. Yeah, and it goes beyond just personal habits. In my world, I'm interested in how watching videos triggers different cognitive patterns. What we consume online is impacting how we think. I wonder if by looking at specific viewing habits, like how someone jumps between videos, we could learn about their internal thought processes. Like, are they constantly seeking new information? Or do they tend to dwell on things? What are the hidden thought patterns we can extract? That's a really fascinating idea, actually. What if we could design specific types of videos that could challenge those negative thought patterns through visuals? Almost like a form of cognitive behavioral therapy, but visually led instead of verbally. Could we train the mind through video? Absolutely. And that's where AI comes in, right? Because there is so much content available, and without AI, it's going to be impossible to process. Think about those AI agents we see on TV. If we could build those AI agents to really understand human behavior, to better grasp cultural contexts, they could be the key to unlocking hidden knowledge from these vast troves of unlabeled video. So, then it's about moving beyond just seeing the video. It's about understanding the why behind the actions, which takes it to a whole different level, right? For me, thinking about how movement integrates with my daily life, like those mindful movements during daily routines. If I could analyze my body language during activities through video analysis, and then fine-tune that, I feel like it would lead to more sustainable changes rather than just a rigid exercise routine. It's not just about the exercises, but the way it integrates into the daily movements. It's the daily life changes that are important. Totally, and I think that's a key point. It's about making these changes feel organic and less like a forced change. If video helps you see the actual impact of these subtle changes, you're way more likely to stick with them. I'm thinking about the implicit learning within the videos, like how our brains absorb information on a subconscious level, especially when viewing. Can we use that to help people reframe unhelpful thoughts? And tying into that, there's definitely a link to sleep and how that affects the cognitive processes. We know sleep is where the brain cleans itself, right? So, could we analyze movement while sleeping, then tailor training routines to improve the quality of sleep, which then enhances cognitive abilities? It's all interconnected, Yes, and that's what's so powerful about analyzing unlabeled video. It's a messy, complicated, totally unscripted representation of reality. And by digging into it, we can start to see all these interconnected threads. The challenge is, how do we sort that out? How do we ensure that AI systems aren't just perpetuating existing biases through the way they see and organize video? That's a crucial point. Bias is such an issue, especially with machine learning. But If we can use video to understand my own biases and to understand my own daily habits and how my body actually moves and acts during them, I feel like that's a start. Like, how do I even know what I'm doing? Maybe even by tracking how different lighting in my house affects my actions and energy. It's about objective measuring of what's happening. Yeah, and that's super relevant to CBT. It's about identifying and challenging those biases in your own thinking. Now, imagine you could use a video log to reflect on your own thought processes as they happen during viewing. What if we could design video content that targets those specific biases that shows up during the viewing patterns? That's where I see real potential. And all this just makes me think about the power of small changes done consistently, especially when it comes to exercise. If we can analyze small movements during sleep using video, and then fine-tune that with targeted exercises, maybe even high-intensity short exercises, then the body might be able to get that deep sleep, and then the mental processes will improve. This isn't just about the physical, it's about everything. Right, and I think that's the key takeaway. It's about seeing how everything connects. And what's exciting about unlabeled video is that it doesn't force a predefined structure on that knowledge. It lets the relationships emerge organically. The goal is to develop tools for discovery, right? Not just tools for categorization. So that means analyzing not just what we see, but the how behind those actions. For me, the biggest challenge is the bias. How do we create systems that don't embed existing human biases? And I think that's so important. It's not about just saying do this, but about understanding how everything interrelates so that we can create real change. If I can get an objective view of my body moving in video, I can then adjust my postures not as a chore, but as a change to my current lifestyle. It's about seeing myself as I really am in the videos. Yeah, that self-awareness piece is huge. And for me, it's about understanding the patterns in how we process video. Like, what's happening cognitively when we're watching something? How can we use that awareness to challenge unhealthy patterns? What kinds of video formats are the most effective for creating lasting change in our thinking? I'm also thinking about the more nuanced ideas like gliogenic competence, how our brain grows and strengthens, and how cognitive processes relate to neural development. That's fascinating. I'm also wondering about that concept of gliogenic competence. I mean, what if specific exercises, targeted routines, and proper sleep could promote that? Maybe we can literally fine-tune our neural pathways through lifestyle changes using video-based data analysis, like watching my sleep, and then implementing very precise exercises based on that analysis. It's true, the potential is huge. Imagine a world where we can learn as much from analyzing raw, unlabeled video as we do from carefully curated, structured data. And that's not just for personal growth, it's for social understanding too. How did knowledge and ideas spread through different communities? Can we see how it happened over time using these videos? The implications for understanding our history, our cultures, our biases, it's mind-boggling. It really is, especially now I am learning the subtle link between lifestyle choices and brain development. If I am to understand the epigenetic mechanisms, I can fine-tune specific lifestyle techniques like movement and mindfulness in order to improve my brain development. If something like meditation could have an impact, I think I can find those types of techniques through video analysis. And if the brain really is able to change through these lifestyle interventions, it opens up a whole new world for cognitive restructuring. Could things like notch signaling epigenetically prime neural progenitors for gliogenesis? Can we use video to understand and control those signals? The implications for treating neurodevelopmental issues are huge, maybe even through tailored interventions guided by video observation. That's incredible to think about. If notch signaling is linked to gliogenic competence, are there specific routines that are beneficial in that? Maybe specific sleep patterns or specific exercises that promote that? It would be amazing if we could understand how to protect the nervous system from injury and aging using what we learn from video analysis. It also means reevaluating how we learn. If we can figure out how to extract knowledge from unlabeled video, we might be able to build learning systems that are far more dynamic and adaptable, and that can capture nuances that structured data simply can't access. So how can we get closer to truly seeing the world through a more objective lens, even with the risk of bias? And how do we handle the overwhelming amounts of data available? Right, and moving past the old idea of fixing something and moving towards nurturing healthy development. If I can better understand the impact of movement, of lighting on my mood and energy levels through personal video analysis, then I can tailor and adjust my environment in a way that helps my brain to develop. I can build a stronger and more resilient brain, which is very empowering. I agree, and for me it's about how this all connects to cognitive therapy. If we understand how video viewing impacts our implicit learning, we could be one step closer to helping people reprogram their cognitive processes. It's not just about fixing issues, but optimizing the brain's potential. And that's something truly revolutionary. It's about that personalized cognitive training based on individual profiles. And that's what's so exciting for me. If there's a link between exercise, sleep, and the development of neural cells, then we can optimize our routines to develop a more stable neural foundation. Maybe precisely timed exercise and sleep could prime the brain for optimal learning. It's about maximizing our potential through lifestyle interventions, and video analysis could be the key. I think you've all touched on so many key points. It really does seem that we are on the cusp of a whole new era of understanding human behavior. The question now is, how can we harness that potential for good? How can we build those tools in a way that's ethical and that promotes greater understanding and empathy? How can we minimize the bias in the process and ensure that our AI systems are truly learning rather than perpetuating the patterns of the past? So, thinking about future research from my perspective, I am thinking about very precise, personalized video analysis. Like, if a specific breathing or meditation exercise could subtly influence my genes related to brain development, I want to see if I can find a way to measure that. That's my direction. The use of video to track that is where I am going next. For me, future research should be all about integrating these findings into CBT. How can we design video content that truly helps people reshape their thought processes? If we can find specific ways to modulate the signaling pathways, like notch signaling, it could revolutionize the treatment of neurodevelopmental disorders. My focus is on personalized cognitive training. I'm focused on the impact of sleep and exercise on gliogenic competence. What specific exercise routines or sleep schedules best promote neurogenesis? How can we tailor those routines to optimize cognitive function? I see a real opportunity to create preventative health strategies using video-based analysis. And I think my future research is in the area of bias and AI. How do we create systems that can learn from video without perpetuating existing human biases? We really need to develop advanced tools that can make sense of the vast amount of information from these unlabeled videos and use that to improve our knowledge and understanding, not reinforce the errors of the past. It's not just about the tech, it's also about the ethics, the social impact, all of it. It's definitely a very complex issue, but it's so fascinating. I really think it's going to revolutionize how we think about learning, development, and even ourselves. I really feel like we are on the edge of something amazing. Yeah, it's definitely a lot to think about, and it goes way beyond just technology. It's about understanding what it means to be human and how we learn, how we think. It's a really exciting time to be alive. Absolutely. And to think that unlabeled video, something that seems so chaotic and unstructured, could hold the keys to so many answers, it's mind-blowing. It's a huge shift from structured learning. But, as you said, the potential is enormous. And the ethical questions that arise along the way, those are going to be just as important. This has been a fantastic discussion. Yeah, and thank you everyone for joining us on this fascinating journey into the world of unlabeled video. It's a space that I believe we will continue to be exploring in future episodes. Definitely. We've only scratched the surface, so make sure to come back for more. See you next time. Thank you.